I wear white to mourn the death of my heart when finishing this book. Hello everyone! Today we'll be talking about Champion by Marie Lewin. I love this series. The series is so good. The writing is amazing and just it makes you feel a lot of emotions. Like, I have never felt so many feels in one series than I did in this book. It's amazing. I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5 stars. Okay, so Champion starts out 8 months after Prodigy. So obviously a lot of time has passed, so the characters are now a year older. Republic is now trying to get all the people who were involved in why the Republic was so bad to begin with. So Thomas is on trial. And first I was like, why is he on trial? Because technically he was just doing what he was told. And so I didn't really get that part because he was doing what he was told. But then again, like I've said in past videos, he is a person. He can make his own decisions, whether they're right or wrong. And he can say, no, that's not right. And now I'm going to go against this. So he's basically kind of like brainwashing a robot through half the series. I like when they were on trial, and so June is describing Commander Jameson's expression, and she's like, I stare back for a moment trying to see some hint of a soul in her eyes, but nothing exists there except for an icy hatred, an absolute lack of conscience. I love that. Just like it kind of digs into what this person is really like, and the fact that she basically has no soul. She's not a ginger, but she has no soul. She's an awful person. I mean, I'm a ginger and I have more soul than she does. So then we find out the plague has broken out in the colonies, and if there's no cure in the next few days, they're gonna attack. And my question was, why just not send the vaccine? But then we find out there is no vaccine. The colonies think there's a vaccine, but part of me thinks they know we don't have a vaccine, so that was their plan of attacking us. So kind of like their excuse on, we're attacking you because you brought the plague into the colonies, when we find out that June was a test subject and she was an experiment. I think that is some way of making them attack the Republic, that if they can alter this plague and give it June and then pass on to them, they could say that the Republic brought this plague into them, which it wasn't the case at all, and they made June a test subject. Because I always wonder that when they were at the hospital, I'm like, why would you trust these people? They hate you, why would you trust them? Weird though, because we find out in the first book stuff, Day has these headaches, you don't think nothing of it. Then the second book, when we find out that he's dying, I still don't think much of it. I'm like, okay, he still has time. But then all of a sudden, it feels like once they announce that, they're gonna be like, oh, by the way, it's 2 months now. When, like, you kind of noticed as time dragged on, you were dying? Because it seems like it was just really rapid how all of a sudden, oh, and now you're dying even more. Because Prodigy, we just hear about his headaches, and it's like, okay, he just has some headaches, kind of. Then Champion, once it's announced that he's dying, it's like all of a sudden he's, like, dying even more. Then when Thomas was telling the story on how he killed Matthias, I was bawling my eyes out. I was just emotional wreck. I was crying so much during this because part of me wanted to strangle Thomas and part of me felt bad. And then part of me's like, dude, get your act together. You should have stuck up for your friend. Thomas literally stabs his best friend in the back. But then when Thomas describes Matthias as really being gone, that's when it really hit me. So emotional. I cried so much because just the impact. And then I kind of was able to put myself in June's shoes and be like, this is how she feels. I just cried. It was an emotional part to read. June likes to count a lot in her head. So she's like, we're driving this car and it felt like eternity. Well, actually 2 minutes and 12 seconds. And I just laughed because I found it kind of funny. I was like, it felt like eternity. Well, actually 2 minutes, 12 seconds. Back when Thomas was telling June the story of how he killed her brother, part of me's wondering, was he tried to warn June, or was this more like a, I don't want you to think of me as a bad person because I was doing what I was told? Because it was weird how all of a sudden his last wish was to just tell her that. Or maybe he felt in some way he was redeeming himself by telling her this because he thought she deserved to know. She always has to have that logic part in it whenever she's over-exaggerating something. So then we find out Commander Jameson is working for the colonies against the Republic. And part of me wonders, was it always like this? Was she always having connections to the colonies? I know, like, after the Republic were like, dude, you're gonna be executed, she went to the other side. But I kind of wonder, was there always a part of her that always wanted to fight against the Republic? Not for a good reason, but wanted to just see it destroyed? In Project, we found out Antarctica is actually a country people can go to and you can actually live and survive in it. And technology is so advanced, I liked the idea of how there's like these numbers floating above people's heads, and every time you do a good act, you get so many points, and if you do bad, you get decreased points, and your status in society is based on how many points you have. If you have a lot of points, you are a pretty important person. I just like that idea because I think that it really encourages people to do better, because in the Republic, if you have a bad job, you're gonna not care. You're just gonna be like, okay, well, I can't afford this, so I'm gonna go steal it because I can't afford it because my job sucks. Where in Antarctica, if you want a better job, you do good. And then you will work for it. And there is a chance to, I feel, redeem yourself to live a better life than what you could have lived in the Republic. And I just think that it's just such a cool concept that Marie Lu came up with. The fact that for how much good you do ranks your mark in society. And I feel like that encourages people to be good people and act how they should. I like the internet. The internet was cool because it felt like you were actually there, and how she's like, okay, well, North America, and she's literally above North America. She's like, that was just like an over-exaggerated version of Google Earth. What happens if you looked up something really scary on the internet? You know those games sometimes people send and like you watch it and all of a sudden at the last minute something comes attacking at you? What happens if that was like one of the cases? You're watching like the little maze thing, or watching like maybe a cute little animal like going across the field, and all of a sudden there's this thing that pops out at you and scares you half to death. How would you take that? So when Thomas died in the book, he was defending the Republic because they always say, oh, Thomas is loyal and everything else, but he was defending the main character. So I was wondering, was that his way of making him feel like a good man, like redeeming himself? Because I don't doubt Thomas felt guilt for killing Matthias, whatever you want to say the guy's name is. I don't think he didn't feel guilt. I feel like when he fights for the Republic at the end and he goes and he saves the characters, I think that was his way of saying, I'm sorry and I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight for what's right because I'm gonna walk in the light. And I just think that way he felt he was redeeming himself, just because if Thomas was executed, he would not have an honorable death. So I feel like this also gave him that honorable death that he felt he deserved. There's a big miscommunication throughout this book, and it results in why the ending was like it was. Because June sees from the window that Day is crying, and she thinks it's because of her. She feels she was the cause of the death of his family and all his misery, when that's not even why Day is crying. But then we hear Day say that if it wasn't for Commander Jamerson, Day's and June's family would still be alive. And that is true. That is totally true. If Commander Jamerson wasn't her position she had, everyone in this book would probably still be alive. But the thing is, if that never happened, June and Day would have never met. Now let's talk about this ending. I'm not okay with it. I'm not. I knew the ending. I can't act like I was surprised. Someone ruined it for me on Tumblr. Still, I felt the emotion. They can't remember June at the end. And June, going back to thinking that she's the reason for all his pain, says, oh, you don't know me. This is what happened. And I'm just here to tell you this. But you don't know me. He's like, okay. No, June, no. Then we get the prologue, and this is 10 years later with her birthday, and we find out actually she dated Aiden, and I was very much in favor of that. I liked Aiden more than I liked Day. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. June and Day meet how Day originally wanted them to meet, because I remember a legend who say, oh, I just wish we could be like normal people and meet on the streets, you know. I would introduce myself and then you would introduce yourself back. And that is actually the last two lines of the book, and he's like, hi, I'm Daniel, and she's like, hi, I'm June. Seriously, there should have been a prologue going with the prologue. I want to know. Don't end it there. Don't make up your own ending. If I wanted to make up my own ending, I would have not read the book. If I wanted to use my imagination, I would have not bought the book. Like, we pay authors to use their imaginations. I don't have to use mine, and I could just read a book. But that didn't happen. So, who knows? Who knows what happened? We will never know what happened at the ending of this book. Overall, I love this book. I love the writing style. I'm gonna miss these characters. I'm gonna miss them a lot. I would highly recommend this book to people who are like, okay, I don't like reading that much, but I'm just gonna read it. I mean, these books are hard not to like, even if my friend did make fun of me for liking them because she thought they were stupid. You just don't know what they're about. Don't judge my book It's amazing. Thank you for watching this. I hope you liked this video. Bye!